Hey everyone, Bird here on behalf of Movie Game Nostalgia.com. Hope you're okay. This is a little new one to me. It's a what's to watch. So obviously most of us are in a lot of days, aren't we? And obviously we know dead easy to miss things though, isn't it? I mean, I miss things I want to watch all the time, but I don't have a look through. You look through these TV guys on the television, but you miss stuff. I like to buy a little magazine and have a check through, but you don't always get the time, do you? So I'm gutted when I miss something. So this could be a regular thing if you like it anyway. But obviously it's based in the UK. But obviously some of these things you might be able to get access to if you're out in another territory outside of the UK, obviously. But this is aimed at the week ahead from Saturday the 9th of May up to Friday the 15th of May, if my brain is working correctly. Yeah, so please, if you're new to the channel, please push the old subscribe on, that'd be great. Push the bell notification so you know when these little specials are coming out, etc. Movie reviews, TV drama reviews, etc. And if I've covered any of these or will be covering any of these, I'll let you know as we go through. Right, so just looking at each day, I mean, I'm concentrating on the main 5 channels, obviously B1, 2, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5. There's a couple of honourable mentions later for stuff that looks okay on other free-to-view channels as well. I'm only looking at free-to-view stuff. I'm not looking at satellite stuff and stuff like that. So it's just what's readily available for everyone in the UK, and obviously a lot of this should be out there. And I'm looking at new series, really, stuff that's new, or obviously films, perhaps not new films, but stuff that I like that are worth watching. My little recommendation of movies that if you've not seen them or you've seen them and you want to watch them again, please do so. Right, we're going to Saturday the 9th of May. And we've got 4 movies. It's obviously the weekend's always busy for movies, aren't it? 4 movies I'm going to recommend and just 1 new series. The new series, I'm not sure if it's I think it's a one-off. It's on BBC 2 at 9 PM on Saturday night. A State of Comic Ecstasy, and it's the synopsis: the comedy pioneer behind the Goon Show, Dr. Strangelove and the Pink Panther series is profiled from his meteoric rise to troubled personal life. It charts his formative years backstage as part of his parents' itinerant music hall review group, his wartime service in India and Burma, to his global superstardom and later decline years. It also includes contributions from those who knew him, including second wife Britt Eklund, daughters Sarah and Victoria. And of course, we're talking about Peter Sellers. So if you that looks really good. So that's 9 o'clock on BBC 2 on the 9th of May. Peter Sellers, A State of Comic Ecstasy. I think that's repeated on Tuesday at 11:30 as well, so you'll be able to catch that. 4 movies. I mean, the one on BBC One it's a premiere actually on BBC One. 7:30 PM. It's Darkest Hour, which obviously is the Winston Churchill thing, isn't it? With Gary Oldman as a wonderful Winston Churchill. So the Darkest Hour is on BBC One 7:30. Obviously, as the Nazis advance against Britain's European allies in May 40, newly elected Prime Minister Winston Churchill finds his greatest battles with his political enemies at home. So I mean that's a great little film, and Gary Oldman does a great job as Winston Churchill. Some of the older films as well that Channel 5, if you want to sit down with a cup of tea and some popcorn, etc., they've got a great afternoon's entertainment, mainly comedy. Not everyone's rave reviews over these, but I like all 3 of these films. At 1 PM Channel 5 on Saturday afternoon, they've got Practical Magic, obviously starring Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman as witches trying to lift a curse. At 3:10 following that, you've got 3:10, you've got Long Came Polly with the gorgeous, beautiful Jennifer Aniston and obviously Ben Stiller, when Ben Stiller's routine is thrown into chaos, isn't he, by Polly. But that follows on, and following on from that, you've got the great, fantastic Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey, and obviously is it Morgan Freeman makes an appearance as the Almighty. So anyway, that's 3 movies, 1 from each other. So that's a great afternoon. As I said, get your big bob popcorn, shut the curtains, shut the blinds, and watch those 3, and you should have a good entertaining afternoon. 1 o'clock, 3:10, and 5:10, Channel 5. That's Practical Magic, Along Came Polly, and Bruce Almighty. On to Sunday, again another busy day for movies. We've got 3 movies and 6 series. The 3 movies at 10:30 on BBC One, 10:30 in the evening. You got the Thomas Crown Affair. This is the Pierce Brosnan one, which is I do enjoy this with Rene Russo. It is a good updated version. That was from 1999. That's well worth a watch. The Thomas Crown Affair if you've not watched that. Animation wise for the family, one of the ones I really liked when it came out in the mid 2000s. Over the Hedge, the animation. That's out on That's at 3:20 on Channel 4, 3:20 PM. And you've also got the last film we're going to look at is King Kong, of course, with Jack Black at 12:25, the remake. All right, it's not the original, is it? But it was a pretty good remake. It's a little bit long, but it's a pretty good remake. And that's 12:25 on Channel 5, followed by Hellboy. So if you don't, the new Hellboy was a bit rubbishy, but the original Hellboy, obviously, with John Hurt and Ron Perlman, was superb. So that follows it as well. So you got an extra bonus there. Again, Channel 5, you've got an afternoon there, King Kong and Hellboy. Another great afternoon's films. Series-wise, we've got the Rangan Nations back. It's a version of the topical comedy with Ramesh Ranganathan, in which 25 members of the public had their say on the state of Britain. So how much humour there is in that, I don't know. That's 9:15 p.m. on BBC Two, followed by Dave. And this is a new US sitcom comedy, the first of 10. You probably know about this if you're outside of the UK. But on BBC Two at 10 o'clock, it's the 30-minute, 20-odd minute episodes. The first of 10, The Gander, about a suburbanite convinced he's destined to be a rap star. So if that floats your boat, that's Dave, that starts on BBC Two at 10 p.m. on Sunday. Also back on Sunday, we've got Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, very topical with the new with the recent TV drama quiz, which I did a special on if you've not watched that. But Jeremy Clarkson's back, who I quite like. Not everyone's cup of tea, obviously, but there's 6 episodes, so it's every night from Sunday for 6 nights. Obviously, it's Jeremy Clarkson returns to host this, so that's worth a watch if you like that. Although I must admit, I've a bit long in the tooth for it now. I sort of dip in and out. I tend to fast forward through it. I get a bit bored with all the waiting, but that's starting a new series. And an interesting one on Channel 4 at 8 p.m. on Sunday, The Fantastical Factory of Curious Craft. It's first of 6, starring Keith Lemon, not everyone's cup of tea again, and Anna Richardson host a crafting competition. So if you like Bake Off, this is a crafting competition thing. So it might be of interest if you like that sort of thing. Followed at 9 o'clock on Channel 4 by Walking with Elephants, a new series. Levison Woods sets out to trek alongside elephants on their annual migration across Botswana. So if you're into wildlife stuff, that looks really good. And finally on Sunday, busy day Sunday. It does get quieter after Sunday, but set those tapes. You're not going to watch all of these here. 6:15 on Channel 5 after the 2 movies, King Kong and Hellboy. We've got the Candy Wars, which obviously is Britain's favourite sweet. So just see what, if you're outside of Britain, just see what the British think of their favourite sweets. Hour and 3/4, so there's plenty going on with that one. They've had Britain's favourite chocolate and all this sort of thing, so that's always well worth a watch. On to Monday, just one series to talk about. Won't be everyone's cup of tea. It's a bit not the most entertaining stuff. It's a hospital special fighting COVID-19. This is on BBC Two at 9 p.m. And cameras go inside London's Royal Free Trust from the first day of lockdown on 23rd of March to show the realities NHS faces in tackling the pandemic. So that's a gritty thing for you to watch on Monday the 11th, 9 p.m. BBC Two. If that sort of thing appeals to you, obviously, if you're feeling a bit down, perhaps it's not the thing to watch. On to Tuesday, got one movie to mention. Obviously there's a movie a day on this. It's a series, The Bells of St Trinian's. We're not talking the new version. This is a 1954 comedy about our mischievous schoolgirls. Absolutely fantastic. Some of my favourite films, The Bells of St Trinian's. So that's showing on BBC Two at 3 p.m. 3 in the afternoon on Tuesday. Obviously series, you've got the continuation of The A Word, which I'll be doing a special on when I've nearly watched all 6 episodes, but episode 2 of 6 is back on Tuesday evening. That's at 9 o'clock on BBC One. The A Word, please watch that. Superb drama. BBC Two at 9 o'clock, we've got the second part of the hospital special, The Fighting COVID. So if you liked, or I wouldn't say liked, it's not the word you use for this sort of thing, isn't it? But if you watch the Mondays offering and want to watch the Tuesdays, that's straight away on Tuesday evening. So on to Wednesday the 13th of May now. Just one movie to talk about. Obviously it's the second in the Blue Murder at St Trinian, so the second in the series from 1957, as I say. Comedy gold, if you like. It's good to, I've watched them many times, but it's good to watch again. And obviously at the night we've got a couple of series, but we've got a rerun of Vienna Blood, which has been showing again, which again I did a full review on some weeks back. That's on BBC Two at 9 o'clock. So if you missed Vienna Blood, I think it's still on BBC iPlayer as well. One of the episodes is on there, and at Channel 4 at 9 p.m. at the same time. So you have to set your record button if you fancy both of them. the country that beat the virus. What can Britain learn? So it talks about South Korea and how they actually beat the virus, which we didn't, which is quite unusual. I buy a lot of stock from South Korea, and strangely enough, UK customs won't let South Korean stuff in, even though obviously they're one of the best. But I don't know what's happening. I've got stock in limbo at the moment. So, but it's quite an interesting program. The country that beats. So it's if we can learn anything, I mean, it's probably too late now, isn't it? But obviously, it's a long. This COVID thing isn't going away anytime soon, is it? Unless we can get a vaccine of some sort. So that's interesting on Channel 4 at 9 o'clock. Again, not exactly light entertainment, but of interest to people if you like that sort of thing. A couple of movies on Thursday I can talk about. We got the third, Pure Hell of St. Trinian's, obviously the 1960 black and white version as well. So that's probably the least favourite of the three. I mean, you know, the first one was brilliant, the second one was very good, and this one's okay. But if you watch the first two, the Pure Hell of St. Trinian's is on BBC Two, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday the 14th, and later on at the night, 11:05 on Channel 5. Yeah, Channel 5 puts some good stuff there, doesn't it? Air Force One, catch that again. I watched it again quite recently. Air Force One, superb film, of course, with Harrison Ford, Gary Oldman again. So Gary Oldman in Winston Churchill, didn't we? Talked about him early on. But Air Force One is on again, so if you get the urge now to watch Air Force One again, a great action thriller, Air Force One. And on to Friday, and the last Friday, the 15th of May. So we've got a couple of movies there. We've got Brief Encounter, the classic drama, Celia Johnson, Trevor Howard from 1945. That's on 3 p.m. in the afternoon on BBC Two. And we've got Mr. Portillo's back, if you like his sort of stuff, his train journeys, etc. He's with a new series on Channel 5 at 9 p.m, Portillo's Empire Journey. He explores the places the British Empire left behind. Oh, they'd have a lot to go at, wouldn't he? First up, he's in India to uncover how the British East India Company raised a private army to create an empire with its ruthless regime. So obviously you start in that. So that's Portillo's. It's the first of 4, so there'll be 4 of those. So if you're into Mr. Portillo's little train journeys, that's a new thing on Channel 5. And getting away from the main channels, just a couple of things, couple of honourable mentions. On Gold on Monday, what date are we on? I forgot the date now. The 11th of May, Monday the 11th of May. We've got Ricky and Ralph's Very Northern Road Trip. So yeah, it's Ricky Tomlinson and Ralph Little, obviously going round the north really, and just they kick off with a trip to Blackpool. So that's an interesting series, a factual series on Gold. I'm not a big. I like Ricky Tomlinson as a comedian. I won't say I like his politics, but I mean, you know, we're talking entertainment here. And Ralph Little, I do quite like Ralph Little, but he's a Man United fan, so I do have a little dislike for him because of that. But the two together, yeah, it might be all right. I'll give it a watch and see what I think. Let me, if you watch it, please let me know what you think of it. So that's Ricky and Ralph's Very Northern Road Trip. We've also got Glow Up, Britain's Next Makeup Star on BBC Three. So this is available from Thursday on BBC Three, which is obviously an internet-based thing. So wannabe makeup stars take on the beauty competition. So if you're into sort of reality sort of stuff and you don't want to do that craft one I mentioned earlier on, that's going to be showing on BBC. Some good stuff on BBC Three. Always have a look on BBC Three. There's sort of stuff that gets missed on there, so it's always worth a look on there. And the last thing we're going to talk about today, it's a new Netflix thriller. All the episodes are available from Friday the 15th of May, and it's called Criminal White Lines, and it's called it's about, well, criminal record is the title for it. For over 20 years, librarian Zoe Walker has been tormented by the mysterious disappearance of her DJ brother Axel from Ibiza following his 24th birthday. So it's obviously, they find a mummified body and it all goes from there. So obviously I'll have a dip into that, see if it's worth reviewing. But that's White Lines on Netflix. That's available from Friday, a new drama on Netflix. Okay, hope you enjoyed that, just as a one-off. Let me know what you think, if it's worth doing these every week for you, and any suggestions, etc, and I'll always put these out before the Saturday anyway. So obviously I'll put this out on the Friday. Today's Friday the 8th, is it 8th of May today? Yeah, Friday the 8th of May. So obviously the 15th of May I'll put another one out for next week's anyway, and we'll see how it goes. Hope you enjoyed that anyway. Thanks for joining me. Please, for all the latest movie, TV, drama news, etc, and if you're into football, you know, I support Manchester City, and obviously I do City vlogs and quizzes, etc. Please, you can follow me on Twitter at nostalgia_movie, or at Charles Deneen, spelled Dineen, and they're both linked together, so you can follow me on both or either, it doesn't matter. And obviously I'm on Facebook, and I'll just put that around there so you can see the full title of that movie. I'm on Facebook at BoardGameGeek with links to that. MovieGameNostalgia.com. You know, my little website, my little day job. Sell old and rare DVDs, movie posters from the 1990s, 2000s, and board games as well. More the retro, older board games than the newer ones. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments what you think. Anyway, this is a good idea, or no, it's boring, Bernie, don't bother. Whichever. Thumbs ups are nice as well, and thumbs ups are great. It's great to get views, but it's nice to get thumbs up, please. Thanks for joining. A bit longer than 15 minutes. Yeah, it's about okay, isn't it? 15 minutes anyway. What are you going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourself, look after your friends, look after your family, and let's all look after each other. This is Bernard saying goodbye for now, and hopefully I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching.